I'm Dale Acorn, Executive Director of the Canadian Foundation for Pharmacy. I'm honored to be a part of this organization, which this year celebrates 75 years as Canada's national pharmacy charity. CFP has contributed immeasurably to the profession. It has served as the industry's melting pot, successfully blending members from practicing pharmacy, industry, associations, and academia. Over its history, it has become pharmacy's philanthropist, raising the funds needed for research and education so Canadian pharmacists and industry can share in the benefits of this relationship and its progress. In celebrating CFP's milestone anniversary, let's look back at how CFP began and how it has evolved to stay relevant 75 years later.
It was 1944. The profession of pharmacy was in particularly bad shape. World War II was ending, and few drugstores were open for business, especially in rural areas. Industry and retail sectors struggled, and academic research was at a standstill. In fact, with only 7 schools operating in Canada at the time, enrollment in pharmaceutical colleges was in sharp decline, not to mention the lack of training available to those already in practice. A.W. Whit Matthews, the director of Alberta's School of Pharmacy, and John Kennedy, president of the United Drug Company, recognized that combining forces could be a good way to rectify the situation. So later that year, their vision to support pharmacy education and advance the profession culminated in the creation of the Canadian Foundation for the Advancement of Pharmacy, today's CFP. The Foundation's first meeting was held on September 11, 1945. One headline in a Canadian drug magazine at the time dubbed it, quote, "the greatest experiment ever proposed for pharmacy." In that first year alone, the foundation raised more than $67,000. By its second year, it was already providing undergraduate awards, teaching fellowships, and research grants to pharmacists in training. By its 20th year, the foundation had provided $320,000 in grants, the bulk of it going to universities. By the 1990s, pharmaceutical care was coming into vogue, yet many pharmacies didn't know how to integrate this into their business models. Then came massive healthcare cuts to pharmacy in the early 2000s. CFP recognized that the best way to help advance the profession at that point was to support evidence-based pharmacy research to highlight the value of pharmacy. Since 2005, the Foundation has provided more than $1.2 million in individual and corporate donations through its Innovation Fund to support practice research across the country, whether it be minor ailment prescribing in Saskatchewan or hypertension management in Alberta and Ontario. With grants of $100,000 annually, CFP is the single largest funder of pharmacy practice research in Canada. The results of these projects have been used by provincial associations to garner evidence of the value of pharmacy services to payers. They've also helped the profession to understand some of the challenges pharmacists face in the delivery of services in order to find solutions for the future. Today, our experienced board of directors continues the vision of CFP by supporting critical pharmacy practice research. But it doesn't stop there. The Foundation also supports several award initiatives to recognize the pharmacy pioneers and leaders who are helping to push the profession forward through their advocacy and innovative efforts. Included in these awards are the Wellspring Leadership Grant, Lifetime Achievement Award, Past President Award, and Pillar of Pharmacy.
Winning the Pillar of Pharmacy Award in November was an overwhelming experience for me. To hear comments that your colleagues and your peers have to say about you and that you are acknowledged for making a contribution throughout your career is heartwarming.
On the educational front, CFP is also the publisher of the Pharmacy Management in Canada textbook, the only Canadian resource of its kind. Along with that is an online CE program on the same topic, developed by CFP with the help of the Canadian Pharmacists Association and the Ontario Pharmacists Association. CFP's annual Pharmacy Forum educates pharmacists nationally by tackling emerging issues utilizing leading pharmacy experts. Going forward, CFP's goal is to continue to evolve so it can stay connected and relevant to the profession. That's especially important as the role of pharmacists continues to expand in areas such as injection, pharmacist prescribing, and now virtual healthcare. We're also encouraged by how pharmacists have distinguished themselves as frontline healthcare workers to keep us safe during the COVID pandemic and future potential challenges.
We are so thankful to everyone who's made donations to CFP so far. These donations make a huge difference in helping advance the profession and raising the profile of pharmacists across the country.
But we need ongoing support, especially from pharmacists, to keep on growing and advancing. After all, it's pharmacists who benefit from our research by having the evidence to support existing efforts or the need for new services. Our current $1 Million for $25 fundraising campaign works on the premise that if all 38,000 pharmacists in Canada donated just $25, we would have $1 million to invest in research.
Only way we can do more is if people donate more to the foundation. The more money we have, the more that we can give out, and the more projects that we can fund.
The Canadian Foundation for Pharmacy is the only organization that funds pharmacy practice research.
And we are all asking you to support the Canadian Foundation for Pharmacy.
Please give generously to the Canadian Foundation for Pharmacy.
We need all pharmacists in Canada to support our profession.
As your industry's charitable organization, we are proud to have supported the profession of pharmacy over the last 75 years. In fact, we look forward to advancing the profession over the next 75 years.